Okay. Hello, it's me, Carly. That's Willow. I'm dog sitting. I was trying to get these flowers in the background here, if you can barely see those. Anyways, here we are. She's saying hi. We're talking about the new moon in Cancer happening. Today I'm shooting this and it's 4th of July. Happy birthday, America. Happy birthday to our home. Cancer rules the home. The 4th house of home and family. Cancer is the mother archetype as well as the crybaby archetype. It is the baby and the mother all in one. It rules the breasts and it rules the womb and the belly. So it has a lot to do with our how we gather when we eat food together and family time, and like the importance of family time and meal time, the importance of nurturing ourselves with food. Like maybe we're having a healing crisis because we have Chiron talking to this new moon. We still have that healing crisis that we came in contact with and had realizations about from the eclipse on April 8th. Chiron and Aries were really where do we need to heal ourselves? Where are we neglecting ourselves? Where have we abandoned ourselves? Because Cancer deals with this wound of abandonment that we all feel. This wound that we all feel when we don't feel like we belong anywhere. We feel that separation of mother and child. We feel that cutting of the cord, and we feel that separation from what we once were literally physically connected to and were kept safe and nourished by our mother's body and our mother's own giving, her own self-sacrifice. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. The mother and child relationship is one of the most sacred things that exists in nature. And so we're looking at that, and we're looking at the compassion and the emotions that might incite within us, because this is such a primal thing that all of us can relate to, and we can all empathize with and imagine, even if we don't have wombs ourselves, what it might feel like to lose a child or to have a child, or to, we can speculate and imagine, but these things are so profound, and so these are the points of life where we experience the most in between the worlds moments, right? We experience birth, death, and the birthing process, when we're born, when we die, and actually if we ever have children. Those processes are transcendental and otherworldly in a lot of ways. So we're looking at those things. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and when this is a new moon in Cancer, the moon is mooning. Everything the moon does, we feel it extra sensitively, because Cancer rules sensitivity. She just wants to, be close to you and be clingy, and that's exactly Cancer as well. We want closeness, and we want, I'm saying we because I myself am a Cancer ascendant. So this full moon, this new moon is happening in my 1st house of identity. Oh girl, okay, yeah. So, so if you want to know what house this is happening at for you in your chart, I can tell you that. Let me know in the comments and I can help you out. We are looking at where we have self-abandoned ourselves in our relationships, right? Because this new moon is also squaring the nodes. We're looking at where have we self-abandoned ourselves in our relationship to self, Aries, and where have we self-abandoned in our relationships, South Node in Libra. Because we want to be able to move forward with more emotional intelligence. This is a new moon. We're planting seeds of family, of nurturing love and care, motherly care, and unconditional love. There's a bond that's formed between a mother and a child that is absolutely unbreakable. Or at least it should be. I understand that not everybody has the privilege of having a caring mother that that feels devoted to that bond. Because I truly believe this is something that's innate and primal for all of us. Where can we mother ourselves now? Where can we come in and reparent ourselves? Because not just the mother archetype is being highlighted right now, because it's sandwiched between these two full moon and Capricorns. One we already had, which was at the 1st degree. We just started in Capricorn. And then we now are at 14 degrees, right in the middle of Cancer for this new moon. We're at this checkpoint where we are in between these two Capricorn moons, where we might be really getting a lot done, and that's awesome, and that's amazing. But what about our checkpoint with the emotions? Capricorn can just completely glaze and bulldoze over those emotions. And so can Aries. And so we've got that square, we have, the square to Chiron happening. We have Mars sextiling. I just realized I didn't bring my notes out here. So what we have is the new moon is in a loose conjunction with Venus, and Venus is square Chiron, which means everything is square Chiron, so I was right. We do have a Mars sextile happening. It's not sextiling the new moon, it's sextiling Saturn, Mars and Saturn. And sextile is a positive opportunity aspect. So maybe let's just take a little bit of action with the Mars and our karma will pay off. Saturn. We just had Saturn and Neptune go retrograde. Those guys will be moving back around like October and December and November. That's going to be when the Pluto, Neptune, and the Saturn retrograde all come back around, is in October, November, and December. So we have some time to sit and think. We have some time to formulate a plan, because Mars and Saturn and Neptune are all about let's make a plan of action. Let's get down to the logistics of it, the logics of it, and let's work towards our dream. That's what we're doing. We have that Mars in Taurus. We have that action-oriented part of us slowed down, and pleasure makes pleasure a priority, but also makes strong and steady efforts towards the goal. The bull is tough, but you be seeing that thing laying down in the field more than you see it work. Or then again, we don't really make those things work in the fields anymore. So I'm not sure if that was actually ever accurate in the old days. Maybe it was more common to see them working. I'm sure it was. Sad poor things. They deserve a break. So let them have a break. We have Venus moving into Leo on the 11th of July. And right now we already have Mercury there. So we have some loud roars that might be being heard. We might be able to display what we're feeling and display our messages with more strength and fire and passion and motivation, more strength. We could also be overcompensating, so let's watch that. When Venus moves into Leo, we need to make sure to be cautious about our appearance. Are we overdoing it? Don't overdo it. We just don't want to. But then again, Venus loves being in Leo because Venus is able to express herself in the 5th house, and she is able to feel more confident and more sensual and more able to, not worry about what other people think as much, and let that beautiful inner flame just be seen and shine brightly. So let's keep looking here. We also have Mercury opposite Pluto. Mercury opposite Pluto could mean that we are having some shakeups in our daily life. I can definitely attest to that. With Cancer, we're being called to utilize the water element and use that for cleansing and use that for the assistance of planting our seeds. So for this instance, it would be like if we have emotional purging that we need to do, those tears can act as water for the seed that we have planted in our Cancer realm of our life. And so if you really do want to know exactly where this is happening for you, you just need to know what house it's happening for you. Like I said, I can help you with that. That's where we get down to like the specifics of astrology and where we can really get predictive with it. So Mars is going to be conjunct Uranus on the 15th, and that's going to be a pretty notable conjunction. We could have some urge on the 15th to do some new action, some out of the blue action that we just like are like, yes, we're doing it now. Like, it is shocking in a way, like new action that could really just shake things up in our masculine lives and in the lives of our direct action. It could also be some kind of action of war. We're not going to feed that too much energy, but it could be something to do with that, like even like a protest or a demonstration of some sort. Like, that's it. That tears it. We're taking action now, like type thing. So we're gonna look out for that because that is just 6 days before the next Capricorn full moon. We need to get our emotions in check so we don't react from a place of emotions. This is a message from me to me, by the way. I am hearing this loud and clear because there has been so much emotional reaction happening this week. Absolutely insane. And the moon, like I said, is the one who we're all answering to. So the way the moon moves right now is really just important to pay attention to right now. We don't have the moon in Cancer yet. We still have the moon in Gemini. So we are feeling maybe like it's hard for us to focus. It's great for 4th of July parties, and most of everybody is going to see this on the 5th anyways. For people in Eastern Standard Time, this is happening at 6:57 p.m. at 14 degrees of Cancer. So if you already want to look at your chart and you know where 14 degrees of Cancer is, by all means, please do that self-inquiry. That's what we're here to do. We are setting a plan, and we're chilling. We are in summertime sadness. I said this the last video I did. We are definitely in the summertime slowdown, and we're in the summertime sadness now. Actually, Cancer is the bottom of the chart. Yeah, rock bottom sometimes it feels like, but nowhere to go but up from rock bottom, right? So let's remember that. Let's remember that we are planting new seeds right now. Let's remember that we have a new opportunity every single day to turn towards our own feelings of self-abandonment and feelings of unworthiness and unbelonging, and reassure ourselves and to look ourselves in the eyes, and say, I'm here, right here. You're not alone, because I'm here. This other self, right? You can step outside of yourself and you can look at yourself in the mirror and remind yourself that you are never alone. And even if you don't subscribe to certain, like things such as like you are always held by the great Mother Earth, let's look at what mother exists outside of us, that great mother, that divine mother of Kundalini energy that exists within the universe, that is within, and that the creative force of the universe, that is the great mother, that is the creative force of the universe, and we're not separated from that. We are always connected to it, even if we don't think we are. So, getting cosmic now. Let's just remember to turn towards ourselves, to turn towards our own, because, okay, so a baby, when it's crying, if it needs its mother, you're not just gonna leave it. That was a thing apparently for a long time, for a whole generation. Parents would just leave their babies. And how many of us are now up at that age now where we're looking back, maybe some of us aren't, because that's my parents' generation, actually, that they were just left to cry, and they're so closed off emotionally that maybe they don't even, that's not even something they can touch. That kind of wound is something that their nervous system doesn't even allow them to access. And that's for me and my generation, the next one. It's I'm here to encourage people and really look at my own birth story and see where the trauma has occurred for me just in that first few moments of life, those first few weeks, first few months, whatever happened. So much of our trauma in our adult life is formed from that time with or without our mothers, whether or not we breastfed, whether or not we had a C-section, whether or not we were put back in the hospital after we were brought home. For me, I had to be in one of those incubator things because I was a jaundiced child for 2 weeks, first 2 weeks of my life. And I wasn't really allowed to be held, and I didn't have that closeness that I needed when I was a child. So that's going to be, a huge abandonment wound that I'm looking at for myself, and my relationship with my mother was affected with that, and I can see, so much of that. And so when we look at our birth story, we can really decode so much and really understand ourselves even more so than, just when we go into our astrology, there are codes there for us in those stories and in what happened to us. We have to have the courage to ask for our needs to be met with Cancer, because Cancer can be quite shy, and that can be its downfall. It can be so timid that it will never be able to figure out how to have its needs met, because it doesn't know how to ask for its needs to be met. Therefore, its needs will never be met because maybe it refuses to meet its own needs, doesn't know how to self-regulate. Themes of co-regulation and self-regulation are coming up for this, because we have the nodes there. We're looking at whether or not maybe our relationships are so we're being asked to look at our relationship to our parents, our relationship to each other, how those two are related, and how we are able to focus on our own healing right now. We're really doing it on our own more right now. We just have about 7 months or so more of North Node in Aries, so we just need to stay in our lane a little bit longer and just do what we need to do for ourselves, so that later when we get into Taurus, I'm sorry, it'll be Chiron in Pisces after this, but we don't want to start resenting anyone because we didn't take care of ourselves. That's a big theme I'm seeing. That's a big theme I'm seeing with the Capricorn full moon workaholic tendency as well, is this like this neglect for them to take care of themselves because there's a workaholic way of coping with the emotions, and then it starts to be this inability to be able to relate to others because you're neglecting your own emotions. So let's just be really, really sweet to ourselves. Let's let everything be super light if we can, with all this air energy. Jupiter in Gemini, the Pluto in Aquarius is still hanging out right there at 1 degree. I just found out that it will be November 19th that Pluto moves back into Capricorn. I'm sorry, back into Aquarius. So we're going to have Pluto in Capricorn for a little bit there, hanging out with the election. Anyways, that's not right now. We're talking about the new moon. And we want to watch that Mercury opposite Pluto, because like I said, that Mercury in Leo can be a loud roar, and maybe we would rather not have such a huge impact on us right now, because Pluto is that huge impact, that life-changing thing, that life-changing moment. Work on your family and work balance. That's the Capricorn Cancer axis, is financial and 3D physical security versus emotional security. We need both equally. One is highly favored over the other in the world of capitalism. Do not let internal capitalism control you. I feel like it's easy for me to say because I'm a Cancer rising and a Scorpio stellium. I am deep in the feels. The feels are my life. And I just can't imagine these Capricorn stellium people out here, like, oh my god, so shut off and so rigid. And you can see it in their, just like, draw the shoulders up, inhale, exhale, just like, we need that right now. I already mentioned eye gazing at yourself in the mirror. That's going to be my number one requirement, because I'm like, yeah, let's go deep. Let's cry. Let's have a freaking life-changing moment with yourself where you remind yourself that you're never going to abandon yourself, and you remind yourself that you have never left yourself. Even in those moments, there was a plan, and there was a reason, and there was a lesson, and by golly, karma knew what it was doing. And we had to trust that it was in our karma to do and experience everything that we have experienced. So yeah, with that stationing retrograde, Saturn retrograde, it's like we're either feeling a retribution, or we're feeling this, like, I don't know, I think there's a retribution, a sense of retribution, even in some little thing, maybe. So maybe see if you can find that, even if you're not feeling like you're getting a full, like that full, retribution feeling in like a big thing. Maybe it's like find some little thing. that makes sense. There's a lot of shame around self-care. There is a lot of new age conspiracy around how we don't really need each other, how we can always just find everything we need within ourselves, which, yes, we need to become whole and be able to learn how to love ourselves in order to be able to love each other, but it's not all within ourselves. I think there's a distinction there that needs to be made in the new age trap, because it's very like, don't become codependent, don't it's like almost encouraging trust issues, encouraging like hyper independence. We could go on and on and on and on about that, but we need each other. Cancer knows that it needs other people. Cancer knows that the family is a very important part of life, and we all need family, a sense of belonging, a sense of family, tribe, primal, tribal love and support and connection. So, and yeah, Cancer is connection, Capricorn is separation. Maybe there's a paradox with all that happening in your life right now. I definitely have that happening for me. So yeah, I really hope this is a good one for you guys, because yeah, the Capricorn full moons can really be giving us that Saturn what for, like, so just if we are getting any like karma being served with all the Saturn, trust and remember that this is all for your highest good. For me, I can see that already. I am definitely being like served some lessons, and I'm like, okay, this is definitely like, I can see exactly immediately right up front that it's for my highest good. So let's become supple like bamboo is what I wrote down, because that's the earth of the Capricorn moons coming together with the Cancer water, becoming supple, being a little bit more flexible, being able to bend in the breeze, remembering that Capricorn energy that we have as these pillars is like the bones and the rib cage that encapsulates and keeps that heart safe, right? Like that, because Capricorn is the father archetype. I think I was going there and missed that somewhere earlier, because we're looking at those archetypes with both of our parents. We're looking at the Capricorn pillars of those full moons, and then the beautiful heart of our connection with our mothers, our maternal heart, that womb space that we all come from. Anyways, I might say a couple more things, because 7/7 Sirius Star Gateway is coming up. Sirius is our spiritual sun. It's like 1,000,000 times bigger than our actual sun, and we see that happening every 7/7. And there's a lot of speculation and a lot of people that say it's not really right on 7/7, whatever. Sirius is a really important part of astrology, because it is on the progressional something or other. I'm learning about all this right now, and we just need to know that Sirius is important, and it has been important for all of history. We also have Algol doing a thing, and I actually don't know the thing. I just remember that there's a couple people that I listened to that mentioned Algol, which is the head of Medusa. So let's try not to lose our heads. during this time, if there is anything that we're going through that's really hard, maybe we're really having some deep insights about the family dynamics that we grew up with, and it's a lot to deal with, and we have like the tendency to turn to escapism. Let's not lose our heads, people. I feel that is all I needed to say. Don't shame yourself about taking care of yourself. Listen to your body. Listen to your heart. Listen to your inner knowing. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and that's intuition. That's your feminine side. That's your adaptability and your ability to change with the phases of the moon, and allow yourself to change. Allow yourself to be fluid. Allow yourself to be graceful with those changes. We're experiencing a lot of change right now. That last Capricorn full moon brought in a lot of change, because with those retrogrades coming right afterwards too, we just like had a freaking reality check with Saturn retrograde, pulling back of the veil, illusion shattered with Neptune retrograde. So we're like, okay, how can we feel the feelings around these big changes, and how can we be fluid with the changes and move like water and ride the waves, because Cancer is like the top of the ocean, like those crazy ups and downs, like it's the top of the water, it's the changing water, it's the ripples, and we're learning how to ride those waves, baby. So thank you all for being here. As always, I will be back next 2 weeks for the last full moon in Capricorn, happening at 29 degrees, dun dun dun, the energetic degree of Capricorn. We're gonna see some culmination happening. Be patient with yourself. Don't put any pressure to make any decisions right now. Jupiter and Gemini, we are just bopping around for a while. Don't try to make any crazy like decisions around your heart and matters of the heart, really like Cancer stuff, until Cancer and Jupiter in Cancer next year. I'm getting ahead of myself, as always. Anyways, I love y'all. Oh, the song that I wanted to put with this, and I don't know if I'm going to do a song every time, but I definitely had a song come to me for this one, and it's Amazing Grace. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Because it's like a self-pity party that Cancer likes to throw. Don't get caught in that. Don't get caught in that. But I once was lost, and now I'm found. Like, we're doing this like soul retrieval process. We're going through a rebirthing process. That's Cancer, is the birthing process and rebirthing for us. New moon, rebirth. So, I once was lost, but now I'm found. I am not feeling sing-songy today. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Where have you been blind in your ability to see with your third eye, with your inner knowing, with your intuition, with that feminine unseen side? P.S. Cancer rules vulnerability. That's kind of the main point, actually. I posted this quote that was super perfect for that desire to feel connected and belonging that we all have, that desire to feel unconditional love and connection that's primal and unwavering and undoubtedly sure. And it was, unconditional vulnerability is the toll road to unconditional love. So I thought it was perfect that I was gonna just pop off and share that song with you guys. And I wanted to also say that the bottom line for this full moon is really just like, can we get what we need to get done with these Capricorn full moons, but also like have a home life to come home to, and can we make sure that we have our emotions in check and our home life balanced, so that when we do come home, it's peaceful and it's harmonious and it's not something that we have to pick up the pieces for because we didn't do the inner work, and we didn't take that time for ourselves, and we didn't do what we needed to do for ourselves to get right in our lives so that we can get right in our relationships. We got to get right with ourselves. So but yeah. And obviously the codependency thing, like nobody's encouraging codependency or discourage, and we should all discourage codependency, but we can't discourage human need for connection and the need that we all share for relation and belonging and tribe. So anyways, I just wanted to add that in as our bottom line and show you up close these flowers that I wanted to show you. So pretty. Some red lilies.